So what does an automotive engineer think about the Toyota GR86? So I had the 2024's GR86 for about a week now. I spent a lot of time with it, made a lot of videos with it, and I'm here to give y'all my perspective of being an automotive engineer on this monster right here. Me and the GR86 go way back to when this was a Scion FRS back in the first generation. So I owned a 2013 one of those, and it was a fun car. I even put 2 car seats in there. That was my signature of my channel back at that time. My kids have grown, only got 1 car seat in there now, a booster seat. But this is grown up. It is matured, and it is not perfect, but it's an amazing vehicle, and I'm here to highlight the good and the bad of it. Some neutrality in there as well. So let me start off with some information, some statistics right here. Price, a hair under $35,000. The color is track bred. I'm used to Jordans, the black and red combination, but bred with a capital R in red, B-R-E-D. We're gonna have a 2.4 liter Subaru, well, not a Subaru engine, it's a Boxer engine, and that is gonna put out 228 horsepower. And it's going to have a low center of gravity. I got the same engine in my WRX, but I got a turbocharged version of it. But let us get on with the bad, then we're going to move over to the good. All right now? Well, this interior does have some good looking materials, but to keep the price point low, they cheaped out on certain areas, like this little area right here. I'm big on interior comfort when driving, so right where you rest your knee at, very hard plastic. And this, which looks like some kind of foam pad, is also ultra hard plastic. So it's not going to be comfortable on the long haul. The engine, while it's very adequate, more than adequate for this vehicle, it does has a little bit of coarseness to it. It's not the smoothest. It doesn't give you that oomph at the high RPMs. It's got great mid-range torque, but it's just a little bit on the coarse side. The efficiency is decent as well. I've been averaging 25 miles per gallon within about a week of mostly highway driving. It's decent. Let me talk about these pedals for just a minute. The clutch pedal, while it has a great feel to it, the bite point is high. That's not my personal preference. I prefer a lower biting point. And it's just the feel of it. Like, it's not hard to engage the gears, but I'm not smooth at it in this car. I gotta really focus on driving it smooth. And I've driven many manual cars. Both my daily drivers are manual. And the gas pedal is going to be a little bit touchy. So riding on uneven pavement, your foot will be modulating and pressing in on the gas pedal, and it just makes for a very herky-jerky ride. So I'm gonna need them to dial that back just a little bit. The responsiveness is too much, which can be a bad thing when you daily drive it. While we do have cruise control in here, and it also has adaptive cruise control, which slows up, speeds down, depending on the flow of traffic. This is an EyeSight branded vehicle with the cruise control. That is Subaru's cruise control system. And in 2024 for the WRX, they got EyeSight where it'll hold the vehicle in the lane. This doesn't have that, and I think they could have done it. And I know this is a true sports car, but the WRX got it, this can get it too. Something neutral, the turn stalk. It returns back to center once you activate it. So to deactivate it, you simply press it in the opposite direction. That's not good or bad, but it takes some getting used to. The WRX has that, or had that. They took it away for 2024, so now they're back to a traditional turn stalk, which would stay in whatever direction you flick it. I know. You're probably thinking I hate this car. If you own one of these, you're probably offended. Ooh-hoo. But on to the good stuff about this car. This car looks way more expensive than what it is. 35 grand for one of these? How did they design this car, and how does it drive so well? This car was stylistically is a masterpiece, especially for the price point. I think it looks better than a lot of cars that are a lot more expensive than this, so kudos to the styling department. The GR86 is going to be an outstanding value. There's only a handful of cars that can get you this level of fun for the price. You got to go double that up to like a Porsche Boxster or a Cayman to get this kind of fun. Half the price, this one's gonna have to get my vote. Actually, I got another car that's got my vote that I spent my money on, so that video's already published. Go check out that comparison video between this and that. But holy smokes, the fun factor on this car. There are not too many cars at any price point that is more fun than this GR86. They really dialed in on the driver engagement, the touch points, the steering feel. The throttle response is so snappy, you won't even need a pedal commander because it is instantaneous. The looks, the feel that you get when driving this car, I'm going to take y'all on a ride for it just after this, but oh my God, it is a great value. It's got back seats as well, so lower insurance, possibly, depending on what area you are in. The big red Brembo smacks the bread paint. And this chassis, don't take my word for it, we're just gonna take it for a spin right now. Behind the driver's seat of the GR86. You know it's a great car when I gotta make more than one video. Making 3 videos on this car to be exact. Just a testament to how great this vehicle is. And I love that the price point is so low. $30,000, $30,000 to $40,000 if you get one of the special editions. This is a phenomenal sports car, and it could cost double if you slap another badge on it. But Toyota, Subaru, they did their thing with this collaboration. Collaboration is a great thing. In the end, the consumer wins because this is the most practical, cheapest sports car. And if you saw the other video I had with the Miata, that's the other one, but it's nowhere near as practical as this GR86. So this car is just fun to drive all the time, just all the time fun. And it doesn't break the bank. Aftermarket is incredible. One thing I noticed, I don't have to rev it all the way out to be rewarded with the horsepower and torque. It's a lively vehicle to drive. Found some hills finally around here, some curves. But as an engineer and a person who enjoys business, it's a wonder if they even make money off these. The profit margin on these got to be super duper slim. Because to offer this much of a car for this price point, hey, they better be selling a ton of Corollas to make up for this, or those RAV4s. Got some pep in it too. She moved. What's the steering feel like? It's on the lighter side. The clutch is definitely decent though. I like the feel of the clutch. The bite point is up high. That's something I don't personally prefer. That's just what it is though. Let me get more in the power band because it just feels better. But if you're in the canyon or something where it's just continuous curves, this steering feel would be excellent. I don't get enough curves to experience all of that. I get like 1 or 2 and it's all done. And as I said in the driving portion of the video, I do feel the accelerator is a little bit too touchy. Once you get on this Michigan roads that's uneven, your foot starts to like go up and down. See how that is? That's just too touchy. I always thought that I want instantaneous reaction, but that can be a bad thing. A little bit of a delay is not a bad thing. One thing I love about this car is how playful it is. The back end to come out on you in such a safe manner. Now, you're able to make the wheels spin, so they gave you a little bit of play in the traction control. It's not so serious to where you can't slide at all. It's actually very liberal in how you are able to. And I enjoy that. So the takeoff on here is a little bit more challenging. Not to say that it's challenging at all, but this car I gotta sometimes think about when I'm taking off. I gotta add a little bit of throttle to it, and I kind of gotta feather it just to make a smooth takeoff. Just an observation there, folks. Not a terrible thing, but it is not easy for me to drive smooth, like going between all these cars I do. If you own the car, you will be used to it, but just hopping in and out of a car, it's a little bit of a learning curve. Speaking of curves, yeah, boy. And this chassis is tight, so roll is very minimal, so you don't have to worry about any of that. It's very tight, track ready in stock form. Some people would like to upgrade the tires. I like the playful nature of it, but that's for the street. Track and the street are two completely different scenarios. I drive my cars on the street for the most part. The track, I would definitely upgrade to something more sticky if you're going after lap times and you do want grip, because this car can tend to slip, as we witnessed a little while ago. These seats are very comfortable, hold you in very well. And another observation I got, the engine is not the smoothest. It's a little bit on the coarse side. Yeah, I would definitely love this vehicle in the canyon, just something with continuous curves like this. But with the speed limit so low around here, it's actually somewhat fun, but I need to get up on it. But I can't, because we don't break laws around here. Obey the law. Well, unfortunately, we're going to be stuck with this one point of view from now on. I wanted y'all to get my facial expressions, but the other camera called it quits on me. Unfortunately, I've been having a lot of issues with my equipment this week, from computers to cameras. But you know what? This GR86 made it a little bit better. Able to deal with that. Especially today. Now, this is a stretch of road that I like. I just need to loop this section. Very satisfying. Very, very satisfying. GR86 fills a very specific niche. You can be having the time of your life in the car and nobody else would know. It's so unassuming. Like, I'm not going to jail breaking speeds. I'm just in the car, just enjoying all the involvement, all the engagement that everything this car has to offer. This chassis is excellent as well. Inputs are very on a more analog side. I got some feel in here. This car does have a soul. A lot of cars tend to miss out on that. They just, I don't know, it's got numb steering or it's just feeling too vague. But this car, they got a lot right with it. The weight is super lightweight, which, like, as an engineer, it is very difficult to keep weight light. You can throw turbochargers and more power at it to correct it, but to engineer a car that weighs less than everything else, 2,800 pounds, this weighs less than the Civic, this weighs less than, this is about what a Fiesta ST used to weigh. And this is much better than its predecessor. So I mentioned in the last video very briefly that I had a Scion FRS, and that car was a lot of fun, but it had that stupid torque dip curve, which was once you get up in the range between 3 and 4 grand on the RPM, it would just, I never saw a torque dip before. That's like, I don't know how that got even tuned into a vehicle. This doesn't have any of that. It makes me wonder, since this is naturally aspirated, tends to keep things more simple. I wonder would they put a GR Corolla engine in one of these. I was thinking about that, and they actually showed like a video of them. It's a special edition one of these. I think it's a GR86 that had a GR Corolla's engine in there. Now, I formerly owned one of those. Toyota does its sports cars very nice. I love the Supra, love the GR Corolla, and I love this right here. Like, I would buy all of them. I was in the market for a Supra as well. But this one being the most affordable one, I think is arguably the most fun. Like I said, that's to my liking. Like, I like slow car fast more than, I like tapping into most of its potential that I can do on normal roads. I don't like to have so much power where I can't even tap into any of it. This car, I get to tap into a large chunk of it. This shifter is great. I mentioned the throws are a little bit on the longer side, but it is still a pleasure. They got some bad manuals out here, and this is not one of them. I hope you all enjoyed this engineer's perspective on the 2024 GR86. A phenomenal car. It's going to have my stamp of approval. If you're interested in buying one, go grab one up, because there is not that many cars naturally aspirated, manual. You can't get a 6-speed auto in one of these as well, which I want to see what that'd be like. But holy smokes, Toyota, Subaru, they knocked it out the park. They have the twin, the BRZ. If you want a different chassis, it's a little bit softer than what this is, so a better daily driver. But if you want that excitement of the track brand version of it, get this one, the GR86. So that's all I gotta say about that, y'all. Don't forget to drive safe, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.